Hi, I'm Shane Rattenbury, the leader of the ACT Greens and a candidate for the new seat of Kurrajong. Well, I grew up in Bateman's Bay, just down the coast from Canberra. It was a really idyllic childhood. Going to the beach after school, small country town. But when I was finishing primary school, I was very fortunate to win a scholarship to a school here in Canberra. And my mum took a pretty gutsy decision because it was just her and myself and my sister. And as a single parent, she took the big call to move us all up to Canberra to get better opportunities for all of us. And that's how we ended up in Canberra. We're all still here, and it's very much home for us these days. I often get asked about why I became an environmental activist. I probably really got triggered when I went down to Tasmania to go bushwalking. It was the first time I saw a large-scale clear-felled forest. It was the most devastating landscape compared to the beautiful forest I'd just driven through, and it really made me think there had to be a better way. With my passion for the environment and for social justice, the Greens, when they first formed, were just the right party for me. I actually joined up on campus at ANU in about 1993. There was a stall just there, and I was wandering through a market day at uni, and there were the Greens, and so I got involved, and it's been a passion ever since. I actually worked on my first election campaign just as a helper. In 1995, we ran that election campaign out of a shed in somebody's backyard. The Greens were still a very small party at that time, but we won 2 seats in the Legislative Assembly, and it was for me very inspiring to see that you could be involved in a small party, be passionate about your ideas and be successful in politics. Well, prior to entering politics, I spent many years working for Greenpeace, the international environmental organisation. I started here in Australia as a political lobbyist for Greenpeace. It's not what people think of when they think of Greenpeace, but I was the suit-wearing end of the organisation, trying to convince politicians to have better environmental policies. But ultimately I went on to work in Bangkok with Greenpeace Southeast Asia, and then at Greenpeace International as the Global Director of Greenpeace's Oceans and Forests campaign. That was an amazing role, taking the Rainbow Warrior into the Straits of Malacca, chasing timber pirates, through to taking expeditions down to Antarctica, taking on the Japanese whaling fleet. It's really inspiring work. We're able to make a real impact on global environmental issues. Well, for me, it's been a real privilege representing the Greens in the ACT Legislative Assembly. The Assembly takes on a whole range of issues, from quite large ones through to some of the very local things that have a real impact on people's day-to-day lives. One of the things I'm most proud of is how ambitious the ACT has been when it comes to addressing climate change. We are one of the most ambitious jurisdictions in the world with our 40% greenhouse gas reduction target, and that was the result of the negotiations we had with the Labor Party in 2008. We won the balance of power and we had that chance to set policy for the next 4 years, and we insisted on having a legislated greenhouse gas reduction target. We were able to do something that scientists told us we should be doing, and to put the ACT right at the forefront of global action on climate change. The ACT election is on the 15th of October, so when you go to fill in your ballot paper, vote for putting the community first. Vote for Shane Rattenbury for the Greens in Kurrajong.
Authorised by Mayor's for the ACT Greens Canberra.